Hi everyone, this is a short video on how I created this illustration for my sci-fi horror IP, Fervent. I started with 3D kit bashing, then added some VFX, and finally tweaked the image in Photoshop. So let's jump into it. A few steps that I won't go over but need to be mentioned is I sketched some rough concept sketches of this idea and then gathered some references. First, I kit bashed the idea in Maya. I have my base mesh I created. A little side note here though, I have the base mesh available on ArtStation and Fab Marketplace. For anyone interested, I will leave the link in the description. Anyway, I started by adding simple geometry to key areas followed by kit bashing with different items that I have. Now, some of these kit bashed items, these parts, I pulled from other projects, and some are from items I purchased some time ago. Kit bashing itself is a great time saver for getting a 3D concept model created. At this stage, I'm not going to complete the kit bash model, not just yet. All I want to do is add parts that I think will work well together and that loosely match the sketch I created. On this model, my main concern was the back of the hand and the index finger of this model. At this point, I just need some important areas quickly done. Next, I export this to ZBrush. I could have stayed in Maya to duplicate and place all the kit bash parts, but I find it easier to manipulate items inside of ZBrush instead of Maya. Here, all the parts I needed are duplicated and some things are altered for a better fit. Now, I save this and duplicate and merge all these parts. The original one I leave as is. I need that later on. This is the duplicated version, which I merged. And I'll reduce the poly count and clean up the new mesh so that I don't get any errors when I do go back into Maya to add dynamic liquid. Now the model is not pretty, but it has the same basic structure as the actual kit bash model. So it will work and it saves on memory. Now back in Maya, I use Bifrost liquid to create a dripping liquid pouring over the palm of this model. I'm not going to go for perfection here with the dynamic qualities of liquid because the simulation would become a major time suck to get all the settings nice and also wait for the simulation to be completed. Instead, I will be editing the final results back in ZBrush. So now I export that liquid in mesh form as an FBX and import it into ZBrush. Inside of ZBrush, I sculpt the liquid to get it closer to what I want. I also move some parts around to get better alignment overall. Once I'm done, it's time to set up lighting, textures, and materials and rendering inside of Marmoset Toolbag. So I export all of these parts from ZBrush to Marmoset Toolbag as an FBX. Once I get the model set up the way I need it, I render different passes, the most important being the final pass and alpha pass, AO pass, and clown pass. Once again, not going for perfection here, I will handle a lot of the high-level details inside of Photoshop. Now, for the final part, I take all the renders and place them in layers in Photoshop. I use the alpha rendered pass to float the subject away from the background. And with my clown pass, I can easily select parts to edit in Photoshop. Lots of quick trial and error with modes, colors, levels, and saturation. And I get the final result that I need. That's how I handle the kit bashing illustration. Any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section. For more information about this IP, Fervent, you can check out my website, outlawhue.com, and you can check me out here on YouTube. All right, have a great one.